Ladies and gentlemen, let's game into the video. We have yet another rumour for the AMD Radeon Fury series. Now I know we just put out another video, but something else has just popped up. In fact, an eagle-eyed viewer, I won't give his name because he hasn't given me, the go-ahead to do that, so I don't want to blast his name on social media, actually pointed me to another series of rumours that have supposedly confirmed the official specifications of the GPUs. Now, the reason that I'm actually fairly inclined to believe these is because it actually marries up with the previous video that I just put out. This other video did confirm, as you probably will know, that the GPU does indeed feature 4096 shaders. That's for the Fiji XT, also known as the Fury X, also previously known as the artist that was the 390X, but now we know the 390X is a different card. Are you confused yet? You bloody well would be. Anyway, I digress. So AMD have said for a while that this is going to be the world's fastest GPU, that we won't be disappointed when it's released, and so on and so forth. And we're like, hey, well, okay, let's wait and see. By the way, this is also an article if you want to go ahead and check it out. It's linked in the video description. Anywho, so the GPU is confirmed by now to use high bandwidth memory, yawn, will be running at 512 gigabytes per second, yawn. I say that because I think everyone knows that at this point, so not particularly news or anything like that. There was a bit of, confusion regarding how much bandwidth would be available. Do remember, theoretically, you could, adjust the memory clock anyway. So the real meat here is there's going to be two versions of Fury. 3 technically, but we'll go into that in a second. The first is the Fury. Just the Fury. It's based on Fiji Pro, so it's going to have 56 GCN units, which means you're going to have 3,584 shaders, 128 ROPS, and 224 TMUs. 1000 megahertz. Going to provide you. Wait for it. 7.2 TFLOPS of computing performance. But that's impressive, right? I think that's impressive. I mean, it batters the R9 290X, which is still pretty impressive at 5.6, but it's pretty poor compared to the Fiji XT, also known as the Fury X, also known as, oh my sweet Jesus Christ, make it stop before my monitor explodes. This GPU is going to put out 8.6 TFLOPS. Now, I did say that we knew that there were going to be 64 compute units with 4,096 shaders. We already confirmed that with the previous video. But there are going to be 128 ROPS and 256 TMUs. You might notice that I didn't misspeak when I said about the Fury's ROPS. Apparently it is going to have 128. But the core clock is also going to be a little higher. It's going to be 1050, so, that 50 megahertz. Yes, I know 5%, like 3, 4, 5, 6% of, extra clock speed. It does make a difference. No one's going to lie. It does make a difference. I mean, it's, if you're going to overclock that, you're going to think, oh, that's good. I've got an extra 50 megahertz on my clock. So, anyway. And that GPU is going to put out 8.6 TFLOPS. Or is it? Because there's going to be two iterations of the Fury X. One is water-cooled and one is air-cooled. So the air-cooled one, of course, will be running at, 1050. But the water-cooled theoretically could run faster than that. Obviously, there will be some TDP issues. But it could go higher. If it ran at like 1150, just for the sake of argument, you're looking at like another 10%. That's going to put it near the 10 TFLOP range. Just think of that compared to the R9 290X. I mean, I had a user, once again I'll leave his name out because, if you don't mind my saying your name and, make a comment, go ahead and say it, but I don't want to make presumptions because that makes me a bit of an asshole. But, a user said, hey, I'm going to be buying 2 of these suckers and I'm going to be running, well, maybe not quite in this verbiage, but, I'm going to be buying 2 of these suckers and I'm going to be putting them in Crossfire, or at least I'm very tempted to. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him if you've got A, the cash, and B, the monitor to run it in. I mean, There's not much point in doing it if you're running like a single 1080p screen, but if you're running, let's say, 1440p surround monitors, or you're running at like 4K, or God help you if you want to invest in VR, I say that because it's going to be quite expensive, maybe not prohibitively expensive, but it's going to be fairly expensive, go for it. I mean, the GPUs are going to be crazy. It's like, damn. But regardless, this is all, of course, assuming, because it's roughly going to be about 50% faster than the R9 290X, which isn't a slouch of a GPU. It's not that much far behind, like, the 980, and it's considerably cheaper as well, but that's beside the point. Just for a second, think of this. There's also architecture improvements, so what would they be? Well, tessellation. You've also, of course, got the color compression. These come because of Tonga, supposedly. And once again, I'm basing this on rumours, supposition, hearsay, and common logic and theory. So, you know, the bedrocks of all stable and scientific endeavours, well, it's going to be at least an evolution on Tonga. So if it's an evolution on Tonga, and Tonga does indeed contain those things, it's hence the reason that it has a slimmer, we're talking about the 285 here, it does have a slimmer bus width than the 280, but it performs about the same because of the various improvements in terms of the bandwidth, plus tessellation obviously has nothing to do with bandwidth, but, you know, tessellation is going to probably become a bit of a more important thing in the future. So obviously that, plus whatever else they manage to do with the bloody architecture, I don't know. Maybe it'll make you buttered toast in the morning or something. But anyway, I'm really excited about this GPU. Is it going to be the gaming nirvana? Is it going to suddenly mean that you're going to be able to run every single game at 4K at 120 hertz refresh rate? Probably not, because let's face it, running something along the lines of The Witcher 3 at 4K at 120 frames a second, or even Crysis 3, which is a little older but the same dealio, it's kind of punishing. But for those who want the best and have the wallets to afford it, because we don't have a price set yet, if you've got that cash, you want that performance, and you want that, you know, level of, oh my god, I want to basically hurtle along a racing track at like 5 billion miles an hour, and I can see every single bloody pebble because I've got MSAA turned up higher than probably should be legally allowed, then GPUs like this do have their place. And let's face it, while most people are going to buy the equivalents of, like, you know, the GTX 960s or the GTX 970s, and there's a reason that those GPUs are really popular, the bleeding edge, the titans, the furies of the world, well, like now the furies of the world, are the ones that we all get excited about, and just makes us that little bit sexually aroused. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Possibly, maybe not after I mention the sexually aroused comment, but still, I would appreciate it if you drop by again. And I'm going to be going now because I need to do this thing, because I've got to be up in the morning ludicrously early. So I'm going to shunt all of this work over to Amio for the channel and be like, you edit this, because I need to be in the beddies. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.